Hi guys, hey, do you have a favorite table game? You know, like a game that you sit around the table with your family with and you play? Mine is Chutes and Ladders. I can remember as a little girl sitting on the floor with my sisters playing that for like hours. I loved it because sometimes we would hit that ladder and you get to climb all the way to the top and you're all excited and you think you're gonna win, and then you hit that chute and you're like, ah, man, back at the beginning. So, you know, it kind of reminds me of what life is like. Sometimes in life we're gonna have things that are gonna take us to the top and we're going to be all excited about them, and then we're going to hit that chute and it's going to take us down again, but it's okay because God's going to be with us through all of that. Today we're starting a new series, and in the new series we're talking about a guy in the Bible named Joseph. Now Joseph had a lot of ups and downs in his life. He started out as this favorite son, but then he ended up locked up in prison. So buckle up, we're in for a crazy ride, but first I want to see what the question of the day is.
Games are great, aren't they? I love to play games with my family. In fact, I know that the best-selling video game of all time is Minecraft. I like playing Minecraft too. So I have 2 questions for you. What is your favorite board game, and what do you like about that game?
Friends of mine when I was a kid loved checkers, and they'd always come over, or if I was at their house, they'd always challenge me to checker game, and I was always unbeatable, but they always wanted to challenge me on it. I haven't played it probably in 20 years, but if somebody challenged me, I'd give them a fighting chance.
My favorite board games depends on who I'm playing with. Younger kids, we usually play either Chutes and Ladders. Sorry are the 2 favorite ones. The older kids and the family get-togethers, we play Apples to Apples is probably one of the more favorite ones that we play with.
My favorite board game, I believe, is chess. I haven't played it in a while, but I like the way the different pieces all work together and play the game.
My family's favorite board game or table game to play right now is Phase 10. We've played it almost every night for almost a week.
Wow, those are some good games. Some of them I have never even played before. Thank you so much for your help this week. Maybe sometime we should get together and play.
Man, those answers make me want to go play a game. You too? Hey, I wonder what kind of games Grandma Gertie used to play. Let's go peek in and see if she can tell us.
Oh, well, hey there, kiddos. Grandma Gertie here. Sorry I look like this. Before this all happened, I was just thinking about the good old days when I was just a wee one. I used to play a lot of fun games with all my brothers and sisters. You know what my favorite game was? It was a good old game of kick the can. Back in those days, we didn't have none of those fancy fandangled techie stuff like Techie Tom uses. We would just look around and find us a good old can. Kick the can required at least 5 kids, so it was a good thing my mama and papa had 17 of us. So you're probably wondering how to play this magnificent game. Well, think of a game of freeze tag and hide and seek, with the only way to unfreeze people was to kick the can. Oh, it was such a good game. In fact, Techie Tom took some video of the last time we played it together. I must say though, this body doesn't quite work like it used to back in the good old days. When you're going to play kick the can, your footwear is most important. I have these here sneakers to keep my feet protected and to help me run so very fast. Also, make sure to clear the area of any dangerous debris. Debris means things lying around on the ground. You know, you can get tripped up by things lying on the ground. And very importantly, when you go to kick the can, make sure to keep your eyes on the can. If you take them off, it's likely that you may take a little bit of a spill. And always make sure to stay hydrated, or it's possible you may black out from the heat. We had some of the best times with just a silly old can. It used to be way more fun than it was for me today. Even thinking about this game makes me miss my brothers and sisters so much. You know, there was a guy in the Bible who had a whole stew of brothers too. He and his brothers did not always get along, but do you know that God can make those hard times into good times? One thing that this guy learned that we can learn too is that we need to listen to God so we can know His plans. Can you say that with me? I will listen to God so I will know His plans. Well, it was great talking to you as always. Snuggles and huggles to you. Bye-bye now. Love you, Grandma Gertie. Oh, that hurts a bit.
So it sounds to me like Grandma Gertie had a real fun time playing kick the can as a kid. Did she say that there were 17 kids in her family? That's a whole bunch of kids. How many kids are in your family? We're going to be talking about a guy in the Bible named Joseph. He had a bunch of kids in his family too. There were 12 brothers. And as you can imagine, with 12 brothers, there's going to be some real ups and there's going to be some downs. So let's go watch and see what happened.
The Faithful Hall of Fame, Joseph. So this is Joseph. Hey! You see, Joseph was the son of Israel and Rachel. Israel loved Joseph more than all 12 of his sons. In fact, he made Joseph a coat to show him how much he loved him. When Joseph's brothers saw this, they hated Joseph. One night, Joseph had a dream. When he awoke, Joseph told the dream to his brothers. He said, "Listen to this dream I had. We were gathering grain when suddenly my bundle of grain rose up and all of you bowed to me." This made his brothers hate Joseph even more. And they said, "You're gonna rule over us?" Then Joseph had another dream. And he told it to his brothers and his father. He said, "Listen, I had another dream. And this time the sun and moon and 11 stars were bowing down to me." This time Israel heard the dream and rebuked Joseph, saying, "Will your mother and brothers and I actually come and bow down before you?" The brothers were even more angry when they heard the second dream. Israel, however, decided to think about what Joseph was saying. One day, Joseph's brothers were working when they saw Joseph coming to meet them. One of his brothers mocked him and said, "Here comes the dreamer. Come on now, let's kill him and throw him away to be devoured by a ferocious animal. Then we'll see what comes of his dreams." One of the brothers named Reuben wanted to rescue Joseph, so he said, "Let us not take his life. Instead, throw him in the pit."
Yeah.
So when Joseph came to his brothers, they attacked him. They took the robe their father had given Joseph. They hoisted Joseph up and threw him into the well. Then they saw a group of men from Midian coming towards them. Judah thought it would be a good idea to sell Joseph to these men. So the brothers sold Joseph to the merchants for 20 shekels. The brothers then took the coat of many colors back to their father and made him believe that Joseph had been killed. Israel wept for his son whom he loved. Meanwhile, Joseph was taken as a slave to Egypt to work in the house of a man named Potiphar, for Joseph's story was only just beginning.
Wow, those were some real ups and downs in Joseph's life. And you know what? God can use those ups and he can use those downs to do what he needs to do. So things were going really well for Joseph at the beginning. He had a great relationship with his dad. He had a great job and he had some really good fashion. So that was really good. But his brothers didn't think it was so great. They were jealous and they were upset. And when they heard those dreams, they didn't understand and they didn't believe. So they decided, let's get rid of this guy. But we're going to talk a little bit about that next week. So let's go see what Techie Tom is up to.
Techie Tom here, and there's a few things I want to talk about before I get to the special thing that's in this cup. I just want to mention this. Look at him playing Jenga in the middle of the day. Look how weird that is. Who in the world plays Jenga in the middle of the day? I mean, Jenga is meant to be played inside on a table. It's got to be balanced just right. Out here, he's playing on the water. That's so weird. The other thing is, you guys keep saying we look alike. Look at this. Nothing alike. Look. You know, I'm not going to fault you for saying I look like someone who's as good looking as Pastor Jeremy, but let's be honest. I don't look anything like. Look, we're not even wearing the same stuff. But I digress. Back to this cup, this very special cup with very special contents. What's inside of this is called expanding water. It's this really cool idea of water that grows as it leaves the container it's in. I've been working on this for the last 4 to 5 months because I wanted to get it ready for summer so that when I got out, I could fill up a water balloon and throw it, chuck it at my friends, and when it hit them, it'd get them all wet because as soon as the water balloon would pop, it'd go all over them and expand just like they were swimming in a swimming pool. Well, every single time I've tried this, I've failed. Have you guys ever failed? It's one of the lowest points that I can feel. I'm sad, I'm mad, I wish I'd done something different. See, I know that God is with us in our highs and our lows, but sometimes in our lows, it doesn't feel like God is with us. And then it got me thinking about another passage, Jeremiah 29:11. It says, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." And it's this beautiful passage that says, I am with you and I have plans for you. Now, the funny thing is, this passage was written right before the people of God, Israel, went into exile. Can everyone say the word exile? What exile is it's the people of God, Israel, was taken from their homes and taken to another place entirely. They were completely uprooted. Everything they knew, every place they'd been, every friend they had, gone. Can you imagine how scary that would be? How sad and frustrating you would be? Like, that's a low. Now, this passage was actually written before the exile, knowing that the exile was happening. For I know the plans I have for you. You're going to be gone for a while. But trust me, I'm going to bring you back to the land. I have plans for you, and they're a blessing. I know that my God is with us in the highs and the lows. So let's say it one more time. For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and give you a hope and a future. Ready? Got him.
So what we learned from this is we learned that Joseph was listening to God. He was listening through those dreams, and he was asking God, what is it you want me to do? He didn't know, but he knew God knew. So in our lives, we also need to ask him that. We need to say, God, what is it you want me to do? And we need to listen. In the Bible, it tells us that Jesus said, my sheep, that's us, listen to my voice. I know them and they follow me. I give them eternal life and they will never perish. So this week, what I would like you to do is I'd like you to find a quiet place, and I'd like you to talk to God, and I'd like you to listen to God and say, God, what is it you want me to do? So have a wonderful week, and remember, you are loved.